All right, so we are here on another Wednesday, and this week we're talking about Dorothea Dix. So Dorothea is remembered for being a nurse during the Civil War era. She also is remembered for being a little bit of a writer, and she inspired many people to take a more humane approach in the area of mental illness and how those who were considered to be mentally ill were treated. So there's a large amount of information about Dorothea Dix and also some of the people that she was involved with. So I'm going to try to maybe do another grouping of itineraries that are inspired by not just her, but the group of people that she spent time around, and see how that goes. So, of course, we're going to start with a quiz focusing on her, and then we'll go into the itineraries. I feel like I have to come up a better way to ask for quizzes. Free trivia quiz. Dorothea. Wayground and fun trivia. Pro profs is different. I'm just going to check this first. Fourth, fifth, or sixth grade, an era of reform. Okay, so this isn't just about her. I'm looking for something, looking for other people. Should I just use that quiz? No. For me, that means no. Let's try this one because it's titled with her name. And this one is not that can be interacted with, but I can still take the quiz. I can still take the quiz. I can write down my answers. I actually have a notebook today. And questions on this quiz are based on information from about this quiz. All the questions are based on information. So we'll try it a little bit differently, and hopefully this will help to actually read a little bit of information about her. I might not find all of the answers there, but maybe a few of them. So, yeah. I enjoy a good pretest. So I'm not going to read and then ask the question, answer the questions. But okay. It's not entirely a pretest though, because I've been spending time reading about her a little bit. Anyway. So one, where was Dorothea Dix born? I don't remember reading that. I would have to guess. I'm just going to guess Georgia. I have no reason for thinking that. If I were to try to make a better guess for a reason, I would guess Virginia, but only because she had a hospital in DC, but it's DC, it's the capital. So she could have been from anywhere to then be prevalent and have a hospital that was kind of inspired by her ideology. I'm going to stick with Georgia. It's not a very educated guess, though. 2. Which of the following best describes Dorothea Dix's early life? She was a slave in the South. She came from a wealthy family that owned several businesses. Her father was a powerful politician. She was from a poor family and had to help raise her siblings. She spent much of her childhood traveling around Europe. Yeah, I honestly, I have no idea. That did not come up. No, my educated guess here. Still thinking about having a hospital in DC. I might be focusing on that too much. I'm going to guess. See, her father was a powerful politician. Last name Dix isn't a name that I'm familiar with, but there are a lot of politicians. 3. Which of the following was one of Dorothea Dix's first jobs? Secretary, mill worker, teacher, field hand, miner. Now, I do think they said she was a teacher. I don't know why they don't have well, it says early first jobs. I'm just guessing teacher. 4. After visiting England, Dorothea Dix decided she wanted to help what group of people? Slaves, miners, veterans, child workers, the mentally ill. E. And I'm only going to go to 5 since I'm going to be reading and trying to check the answers here. So, true or false, Dorothea Dix's work had little impact on helping to improve the quality of mental hospitals in the United States. False. Capital F-A-L-S-E, false. I'm going for 5B. All right. So, I'm just going to read. I'm not going to search for the answers. Where is she from? Actually, let me open a new tab. Occupation, activist and social reformer. She was from Maine. She died in New Jersey, but for helping the mentally ill and working as superintendent of army nurses during the Civil War. I was correct for that. I remember that pretty well. Biography. Where did Dorothea Dix grow up? Dorothea Dix was born in Hampton, Maine on April 4th, 1802. She had a difficult childhood as her father was gone much of the time. Her mother suffered from depression. All right, let's get into the other questions. So, which of the following describes her early life? We're reading that right now. Nope. I mean, he could have been a politician, but if he was gone most of the time. So she took care of her siblings. That fits with the type of work she ended up doing, right? So D, that was also incorrect. 3, which of the following was one of Dorothea Dix's first jobs? Education and early career. Yay, I remembered that part. She was a teacher. Correctamundo. 4, after visiting England, Dorothea Dix decided she wanted to help what group of people? Confident about that one. Oh, actually, I should check it though. Yeah. Plight of the mentally ill. And then 5, pretty confident about that one as well. We're pretty confident about that one as well. Yeah. So great. That's fun. I would like to get better about sharing these quizzes when I do the Friday posts. That's one little thing that I have not started doing, but I want to make sure I start and then continue every time. So I think being that Dorothea Dix was a teacher, this would be a good week to start doing that. Where am I going to make note of it? I don't know. Somewhere other than that binder, though. Okay, so now let's go back to remembering other people that she spent her time around. And also put a little bit more into deciding the time frame of this one. I'm actually curious about more of these questions. 6. During what war did Dorothea Dix serve as the superintendent of Army nurses? Civil War. Which of the following was not a requirement for Army nurses set by Dorothea Dix? A. Nurses must be plain looking. Nurses were not allowed to wear jewelry. Nurses had to wear plain dresses. Nurses had to be younger than 25. None of the above. Nurses had to be younger than 25 for 7. Okay, they must be between 35 and 50. 8, true or false? So that was correct. True or false? The nurses working for Dorothea Dix helped both Union and Confederate soldiers. Oh, true. That must be true. I think that's true. Sounds like it's just the Union. There we go. Here, while working as a nurse for the Union, Dorothea and her nurses wounded Confederate soldiers. All right. I think I remember learning about that before. Generally, those who were in the healthcare arena helped whomever they. What president of the United States vetoed the mental health bill that Dorothea Dix worked to get passed in Congress? Oh, I should know this. This one's going to be, this is a risky one. I just do my best. I know it's the Civil War. I know the Civil War. So it should be Abraham Lincoln. But would he veto? Yeah, it was vetoed by Franklin Pierce. Okay. I figured I was going to get it wrong. All right. How many children did Dorothea Dix have? 1, 2, 4, 7. She never married or had children. I didn't see anything about her kids. I think it's E. She never married, but did she have children? Okay, so no. I love ducksters. Anyway, all right, it's 7:15. And I do try to finish this part about 7:15, so let's go on to the next part. It's fine. So Dorothea Dix, what, I mean, it would have been year round. We could still search engine it if I was Googling it. Civil War, wartime, Civil War season. Is there Civil War schedule? Was there a schedule for the Civil War? Wartime of the Civil War. No rigid preset schedule. I know that that sounds wild, but I think once upon a time there were rigid schedules. Civil War timeline is different than a schedule. Season of most battles during the Civil War. Now, this is a strange question to ask. The majority of major battles during the American Civil War were fought during the spring and summer months, generally between April and September. Now, there are two directions we could go in with this. It may or may not be true. So, but it'd be easy to go through, relatively easy to go through trusted sources and see if that's true or not. I'm going to trust. Should I trust AI with this one? That's an A. It's an A. I don't know. We won't say trust, but we'll just move forward with spring and summer. I believe those are the war months. Those are war months because peak months are usually the winter months. So historically, and maybe perhaps even in modern times. Or more modern times, even war closer to modern times between the present day and the Civil War. So we're going to go for spring and summer. Or I was going to actually go for fall and winter because we're more trying to lean into a peaceful space here. Fall and winter. Fall and winter. There was someone last name Emerson that she was closely affiliated with. And I listed a biography of him among the grouping of books for this week. So I don't remember his first and middle name. Dorothea Dix's colleagues. What happened to the Emerson guy? I misunderstood. Not his name. Is that not his name? What was his name? Was it Edgar something? Let's look at the books. It is Emerson. Okay. It's George. Oh, just kidding. This guy is Ralph Waldo, was the guy that I found earlier. Connected through Boston and England. So let's try to focus on Boston and England. I know I'm pulling the cards today. Yeah, Boston and England. English. Sorry, land. Boston, England. We're focusing on Ralph Waldo Emerson. Part of the same intellectual reform circles. Dorothea DIX 19th century reform circle. 19th century reform social circle. All right, let's get some of these names. William Ellery Channing, Dr. Samuel Gridley Howe, Unitarian, former doctor, noted educational reformer. Ooh, Mary Peabody, man, the Peabodys. I don't actually know much about the Peabody. It's just a name that sounds familiar. So let's just use these names. William Ellery Channing. William Ellery Channing. Dr. Samuel Gridley Howe, with an E. Dr. Samuel Gridley. Samuel Gridley. We need two more names. Of course, well, no, we don't have to include. We don't have to. I'm going to do Horace Mann and then Dorothea Dix. Let's see the spelling of the names. One R, two N's. Lovely. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And we're looking for things. I'm not looking for things focused on mental health programs, but just general activities that are good for supporting a healthy mental hygiene. Keeping a healthy mental hygiene. That's what I'm looking for. Let's search, how do you keep healthy mental hygiene? I think I searched something like this before. Hygiene. Healthy mental hygiene. AI says healthy mental hygiene involves daily habits that maintain and boost emotional, psychological, and social well being, reducing stress and improving quality of life. Yes, but what are they? Okay, so physical activity, sleep, mindfulness and relaxation, social connection, gratitude and positivity, setting boundaries, limiting screen time, journaling. Oh, I don't think I've put a journaling itinerary. I would like to find journaling for Dorothea Dix. Horace Mann. I don't remember. I kind of want to AI overview. AI, if I were to bring this over to this so that I can reference it in a little bit, would that be okay? It's not all there. It is. It's all there. I just need to change the font or the color. That's fine. Not worried about it. AI overview. And then I'm just going to take a step back here. What? Yeah, here we are. Channing, William Ellery Channing, celebrated Unitarian minister, was a vital mentor to Dix, fostering her religious commitment to social duty rather than evangelical revivalism. Unitarian ministry. I already had a different tab for my question, apparently. So, Dr. Samuel Gridley, a prominent reformer and doctor who supported Dix's push to create the first generation of American mental asylums. Oh, right. First generation of American mental asylums. I've already included a mental asylum, and I apologize because the mental asylum, I think, was on a Halloween itinerary, but they were doing a unique type of tours, and I personally don't think those tours, those kinds of tours are scary. So, but I understand that Halloween time, those types of activities are thought to be into a scary experience, but either way. We'll see if we can find a mental asylum to go to that offers a historical tour rather than a haunted tour. Even though I know that location offers both. Ralph Waldo Emerson did not come up on this list here. Horace Mann did. So let me just go ahead and finish. Horace Mann, noted educational reformer who, along with his wife, Mary Peabody Mann, was part of the Boston Reform intellectual circle that supported DIX's efforts. So I'm going to find a Peabody activity because I'm pretty sure the Peabodys are closely related to education a lot of the times. I'm pretty sure that's a common thread for the Peabody family lineage, or at least a Peabody family lineage. So I'm just going to look for a Peabody related activity. And then we're going to Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was a novelist. Wasn't he a novelist? Or a writer, at least? Poet? Ralph Waldo Emerson, essayist. Lecturer. That's one thing I haven't been adding here as much. Lectures. Lectures. Lecture halls. A lecture hall. I like lecture halls. Someone's giving just a lecture as an event, a special event. It's much different than as part of a course. Not saying those aren't fantastic, but it's different when you go to a lecture hall that you might have taken a class in, and there is giving a speech on a topic that you're interested in a little bit later in life. It's very cool. So we'll find a lecture hall, hopefully maybe in the Boston area, that tends to host public lectures. So here we go. I think we're finished with that. I'm going to save these links here for the quiz. Quiz. That's fine. There's the quiz there. The lecture hall, the Boston lecture hall, should be pretty easy to find. With public events. Boston features several prominent lecture halls hosting public events, notably. Forgive my pronunciation if it's wrong, I'm not familiar with it. At the Boston Public Library, the Janet Daly Library Lecture Hall at Emmanuel College, and the Phillips Auditorium at the CFA. These venues host free, thought-provoking, and educational presentations, including the Lowell Lecture Series. Since its founding in 1836, the Lowell Institute has sponsored free public lectures and other educational programs throughout the Boston area. The Lowell Institute was conceived of and founded and funded by Boston businessman John Lowell Jr., who upon his death left a substantial portion of his estate to a charitable trust dedicated to the maintenance and support of public lectures for the promotion of moral and intellectual and physical instruction or education of citizens of said city of Boston. Wow. Yes. And there are recordings here available as well. So, is there a schedule though? There's something that just ended. Reimagining the climate movement from Black girl environmentalist to beyond. Diplomacy now advancing global connection through sport. April 29th. We'll just put the Lowell lectures. Tourist attraction for Unitarian ministry. Odd question, but we'll see. Unitarian ministers? Unitarian ministers and enthusiasts include historic sites in Transylvania. Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural masterpieces and significant New England locations. Top destinations include the Unitarian Church in Transylvania and villages like Turoko, Unity Temple in Oak Park, Illinois, the Unitarian Meeting House in Madison, Wisconsin, and Walden Pond in Massachusetts. So Transylvania, Romania, that is the birthplace of Unitarianism. I'm not prioritizing this location just because it's not as closely related to Dorothea Dix. And her mentor was a Unitarian minister. But I will find something close to her in New England, right? King's Chapel is also in Boston, First Unitarian Church in America. That's important. That's a big deal. So, Unitarian King's Chapel. This is all Boston. We did want a Boston/England focus. We said Boston/England. We could make it Boston/New England, even though that is not what we were originally talking about. First American Mental Asylum. Tour of early American mental asylum. Historical tour. The Public Hospital of 1773 in Williamsburg, Virginia, now Eastern State Hospital, was the first public institution in British North America dedicated solely to treating the mentally ill. Visitors can explore its history, which began with harsh early treatments and evolved under Dr. John Galt to moral management through restored exhibits and tours in colonial Williamsburg. In British North America. British North America. Because this is before 1776. Should we go for this one? Yeah, I'm getting a yes. The Public Hospital of 1773. In colonial Williamsburg. Is that the name of the place? The Public Hospital. I have been here. Have I been here? I've definitely been to colonial Williamsburg. Is this... Isn't there a wall? It does have a long path. I think I've been there. I've been to this. The Public Hospital of 1773. Oops. The Public Hospital of 1773. Peabody-related activity. Okay, Peabody calendar of educational events. I'm forgetting to save the links. But I also have just been picking stuff up from AI. That's not true. We have the Lau Institute here. King's Chapel is what we can look for. King's Chapel, Boston. King's Chapel of Boston, Massachusetts. And now we're looking for the next two. Peabody calendar of educational events. Johns Hopkins University Peabody Institute. The Peabody Institute, Johns Hopkins, hosts numerous educational events, including master classes and student recitals on vocal studies, dance, and music. Events range from specialized conservatory training to community-focused performances. Detailed schedules are available on the Peabody Institute events calendar. Peabody Institute events. Are they public events, though? Are they public events? They're publicly shared, but sometimes you find a publicly posted calendar, but the events are private. And journaling, yes. I think I looked for something like this before and I don't remember finding anything, but I just want to find a journaling workshop or even a scrapbooking workshop. Maybe I did find something, just decided not to put it for some reason. Journaling workshop. I might have somewhat lost sight of the coping mechanisms or that healthy mental health hygiene, but we'll see if we can find specific things that fit more with the hygiene when I make for Friday. Journaling workshops offer guided, structured sessions to build mindfulness, creativity, and self-reflection. That's the idea of mindfulness. Eventbrite. Oh, that's good. Let's see what it says on Eventbrite. Here's Washington, D.C. journaling workshops. These are local. Before I take a closer look at all of these, ooh. Oh, that's fantastic. Great. Let's see. Don't schedule/register. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Lovely. So I'm just, we're just going to save it. Journaling workshops. And now for this one. Of the books, let's decide which one to build an itinerary for. This one is what we're looking for. Okay, it's all absolutely fine. We'll use this one. Life is complicated, so I've drawn it instead. I'm going to choose the journaling one just because journaling, it seems to fit. This looks like it's in handwriting. And it's the first one. So I had a little bit of trouble finding a cover image. It's all absolutely fine. It definitely gives journaling vibes. So I'm going to grab this image. Should have been easy to remember. Let's choose a specific workshop. And yeah, we're there. The Zoom series. Zoom mindfulness journaling workshop. Do a mindfulness journaling workshop on Zoom. Let's just call it the workshop. And then we'll just say via say with So put your thoughts on paper, save the world. Put your thoughts on paper, save the world. I can say online or in person with. Great, so put your thoughts on paper, save the world. And I will do my best to put a thought on paper to remember to share the quizzes. So with that, until next reach out, keep it loud.